Alright guys, here's the rewards of summer lake crappie fishing. Got about 15 crappie total, some real nice keepers. I'm going to go ahead and fillet them, but thanks for watching.
What is up guys, this is Zach from Anglers Escape, and today I'm going to make a video on crappie fishing in the summer, and I want to make this video as short and sweet as possible, so let's get down to business. The first thing you want to do when crappie fishing in the summer is find structure, and structure I find the best is bridge pillars. The next best I would say is submerged trees or any tree sticking out of the water, and the third best would be docks. And you can see there's a lot of docks around me. It's an excellent place to fish, especially when it gets hot in the summer. They like the shade of the docks, they like the shade of bridges, and they ambush their prey around docks and those bridge pillars. So look for those structures, and that's where you want to start out. The next tip I want to give is you always want to be using minnows and jigs. Sometimes the crappie will be hammering jigs and they won't touch a minnow, and sometimes it'll be vice versa, and sometimes they're biting equally well on both. But you might as well have both out there because the minnow's doing the work for you. It can just sit there on another pole while you're jigging or using a lure on the other. So you double your chances. So now I want to show my setup for minnow fishing for crappie in the summer. And basically I have 4-pound test line on a light action rod. You don't want to go any heavier than 4-pound test line, or the crappie will see that pound test line and they won't bite. I had a friend fishing with me with 8-pound test line. I had 4-pound test line, same lures and everything, and I was doubling if not tripling his catch just because of the pound test line difference. So don't make that mistake. The next thing you want to do is just get a standardized J hook like this. It's got a long shank on it, as you can see, which helps keep the minnow live a little bit longer and keeps the minnow from rehooking itself. And then about 8 inches up, a little bit of split shot just to weight the minnow down, because if you don't have any weight, what will happen is the minnow will swim to the surface where the crappie aren't to hide from them, and you won't catch any crappie. So the split shot, make sure the minnow's at the position you want it. And then if you're fishing from a dock, boat let's say, you don't need a bobber, you just want to straight drop it down and drop it next to that bridge pillar, drop it right under the dock, and that's where you're going to have the most luck. If you're fishing from the shore, you're going to want to use a slip bobber. So I actually have a slip bobber set up right here. And what a slip bobber is allows you to fish like 10 or 12 feet deep under a bobber, and you can still cast it out a long ways. So basically if I put this bobber on here, it can slide up and down my line, and I can cast it with only a couple feet of line out. But then what I do is I take one of these pieces of string, I tie it on my line like 12 feet down there, and it doesn't affect your casting or reeling. So then my line will just keep coming out. The bobber will keep sliding up the line till it hits that piece of string on my fishing line, and it'll stop. And so now I'm on the shore and I'm fishing 10-12 feet deep, and that's where the crappie are, and you'll start catching them. And again, I really want to reiterate, you don't want to be fishing on the bottom, you don't want to be fishing at the top, you want to be fishing about mid-water column is your best bet. And so real quick, I'll go ahead and show you guys how to hook a minnow. And I find the way to keep them alive the longest and have one of the better hookup ratios is to hook them right through the nostril. So go ahead, grab your minnow. This is a little bit of a smaller one. What you want to do is go right through the nostril. So I go up through the mouth, through the nostril, not through the head, or it'll kill him. And right there, I'm through the nostril. He's still lively, and he'll stay alive for hours on end. So when you have him hooked like that, it keeps him upright. You can see him in the water. He's darting all around. He's really erratic. As soon as your minnow dies, go ahead and replace it. There's no reason to have a dead minnow on your hook. You won't catch nearly as many crappie, if any crappie at all. And you want that real lively minnow like that guy right there. And just hook him through the nostrils. He'll live a long time, and you'll have great hookup ratios. So now while I have my minnow in the water, that's when I get out my second 4-pound light action rod, and then I hook up a jig. And so here's a few jigs and minnow lures that I really like. And one's just a standardized 2-tailed jig. And this is actually a crappie magnet. They work excellent, but here's a marabou jig, here's just a plastic, and here's a sassy shad. They're all excellent lures for crappie, but basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your pole with your crappie jig on it. You're gonna drop it down to about 2 or 3 feet off the bottom, and then you're gonna kind of jig it and slowly bring it up. And as you're jigging, you're just doing light. It doesn't take a whole lot. You can see the rod tip right there, and it helps to have a real light action rod so you can give it a good jig. But you reel it up a foot and you jig it for maybe 30 seconds, and you reel it up another foot, jig it another 30 seconds. And once you get about 5 feet from the surface, go ahead and re-reel it in and give it another shot. But the thing is, as soon as you get your first bite, you want to make note of that depth and start targeting that depth for the crappie. 2 more quick tips, guys. One is to use crappie nibbles or another bait attractant. While I don't think you get more bites, the fish hang on a little bit longer, because once they inhale that jig, they can taste the scent, and think it's more of a real fish, so they're less likely to just spit it out immediately, and you get a better hookup ratio. So crappie nibbles is a good go-to. And the other thing is you want to always be changing spots in the summer. The fish are really spread out. You want to just hit one spot, go to the next. If you don't catch anything within 5-10 minutes, hit the next spot, hit the next bridge pillar, the next dock, something, keep changing it up. Because if they're not biting, they're either not there or they're just not hungry in that spot. So you got to keep moving a lot. And I hope you learned something in this video, guys. I'm going to try one of these tips, and thanks for watching. Nice summer crappie right there. Alright guys, doing some summer crappie fishing, and it looks like we got another, just straight lining a minnow off the dock. It's about 7 feet deep there. I'm fishing about 5 feet down, keeping the minnow suspended. But another nice sized crappie, great eating, and he just inhaled that minnow. But hopefully we have some more luck. Another good summertime lake crappie. Hey, we got a really nice one, guys. He just hammered this minnow, doubled the rod under. This might be a catfish, I'm not so, or a bass. I'm not sure it's a crappie. If it's a crappie, it is a very nice crappie. Oh, it's a catfish. Not a bad catfish. Channel catfish. Let's see if I can get him up here on 4-pound test, and I did. Nice channel catfish on minnow. Hammered it. Which pops right out. And there he goes. Nice crappie on the sassy shad, actually. Nailed it at the top of his mouth. There we go. Something, guys, just fishing this bud rock vertically, and ooh, that is a nice crappie. Ooh, look at this guy. This is probably close to a pound, but that is a beauty. Summer crappie fishing with minnows and jigs. You can see he inhaled that minnow using the standard J hook with the long shank. All right, doing some summer crappie fishing, and I got another fish on minnows, it looks like. Another nice sized crappie. Alright, looks like I have yet another crappie on minnows. Just fishing this dock for structure. Dropped him straight down. Fishing about 7 feet deep in 12 feet of water, suspended. But another great eating size crappie. Hopefully we get some more. Getting a nice stringer full. Alright, I'm doing some summer crappie fishing, and I think I got a hook up. I'm just straight lining minnows straight down. A little bit of split shot. Another nice white crappie. Not quite as big as the last ones, but about 9 inches, so he's about that keeper size. I'll have to measure him. But you can see I'm just using a real long shanked hook, and that's to keep the minnows alive longer. I hook the minnows through the nostrils so they live a long time. And then since I'm right above structure, which is the dock, I'm just fishing straight down. I don't need a bobber really. I just have a little bit of split shot to keep the minnow down. If you don't have the split shot, the minnow will swim back up to the surface and you won't get the bites. And these crappie are all going to be suspended. They're not going to be on the bottom. They're not going to be at the surface. They're going to be, if you're about 12 feet deep, they're going to be about 8 feet down usually, or a few feet off the bottom. So another nice fish, summer crappie fishing.